Soundstripe.
Trying to get a lot of dough. Anything is possible. Turn me up in the headphone.
Soundstripe.
Yeah. Trying to get a lot of dough and dirt through all the obstacles, cause anything is possible. Yeah. Oh man, I got a lot of goals. Stack that bread and by my nose. Anything is possible. Yeah. Trying to get a lot of dough and dirt through all the obstacles, cause anything is possible.
Welcome back to the XandO Sports Show. I'm your host, Ricky G. Stanley. I know things look a little different in the background with the lighting because equipment wasn't working tonight. So show must move on. Found a backup plan. However, it's October, so we got NFL Week 4. If you was not watching today, guess what? My Eagles are 5-0. Yes, we're 5-0. We're on a roll like a side of slaw. Also, NBA preseason has started. My Lakers are 0-4 in the preseason, but I'm not worried. LeBron is in year 20. I just want him to make it through and get us to the playoffs. Also, Phillies. Yes, we are back in the playoffs. Yes, we're making some noise. We made it out of the wild card. Now it's time to play some baseball. Who did I forget? We got NBA, we got NFL, MLB. Also, hockey. I want to say their preseason is starting, if I'm mistaken. But we're going to stick with the NFL at the moment. The first topic we're going to talk about is, did the Broncos get it wrong with Russel Wilson? This is just me personally, and I'm speaking from what I've seen over the years, and I've been going and I'm seeing statements of how they might have got it wrong. So let's talk about it. All right, so Russel Wilson, like I said, I've been watching him play since NC State, and I hated his guts. Why? Because he beat my Miami Hurricanes, which they lost to UNC this weekend. But neither here or there. But did they get it wrong? Absolutely not. They did not get it wrong. Russel Wilson, like I said, he's been balling since he played for NC State. NC State decided to move on without him. He went to pursue his master's. Guess what he did? He went to Wisconsin, which was a new school he's never played for. It took them to a bowl game. I think they went 10-2. He's a baller. So, even though you're looking at Russell Wilson playing bad now, he's been pretty good over the years. So let's roll that beautiful bean footage back to when Peyton Manning played. He won a Super Bowl, and I want to say he lost the first Super Bowl to Russell Wilson. But we're going to talk about that later too. So you have Peyton Manning, and they've had several quarterbacks to sign, and they have drafted. And this is part of the list. None to say, you got Brock Osweiler, Case Keenum, Joe Flacco, Paxton Lynch, Jeff Driscoll, Drew Lock, and Teddy Bridgewater. Now, those guys ain't the cream of the crop, but 3 of those guys have won and went to a playoff game. I'm just saying. So, out of that long list, those guys are not elite, but they went to a playoff game, and I want to say one of those guys were one game away from the Super Bowl. So, they're not what we call trash. So, if these guys have won games other places, do you think it's a quarterback issue? It is not. This is what I call a culture issue. They ain't won since Peyton been there. Not anything serious anyway. So like I said, the Broncos have a culture issue. And just looking at those guys that play, you could win with any of them. You could win probably 10 games if you called plays right. You know these guys are not going to win the game for you, but you just don't put them into position to lose it. So, back to Russell Wilson. Has he proven that he could play in the NFL? Absolutely. He's been to two Super Bowls. 2. And he won one. He should have won the other one, but, we're going to blame that one on Pete Carroll. Last year was the first year he had a losing season since he's been in the NFL. He's been in, 11 seasons? And we're talking about the first losing season? Some guys can't go put back-to-back seasons together without losing. So, like I said, as a GM and as an owner, it was a no-brainer to sign Russell Wilson. You couldn't get Brady, and you couldn't get Aaron Rodgers. You couldn't get anyone else to leave. This guy has a great resume. He's proven he can win, and he had way less talent than he does now. So, it was a no-brainer to sign him. People think, oh, he was overpaid. No, he wasn't. You ain't had nobody that can outplay him, and you couldn't draft anybody that was good enough to that if you didn't get him, they would make a difference. So you got Russell Wilson. So the next question is, what is wrong with the Broncos? I personally think the offense is a complete makeover. The offensive coordinator, take your ego, put it in the trash can. You need to let that go, brother. Ain't no way that you got Russell Wilson and the plays that you're calling, they're blaming it on Russell. Oh, he's only keying in on Sutton and all this and that. No, what you do is you go back and look at tape of what Peyton did well there, and you go back and look at tape of what Russell Wilson did well in Seattle. That is what you should start calling. You have two running backs that cough up the football like it's cold and flu season. You're going to have to start doing short passes because you can't run the ball and trust these guys. So when Brady didn't have a good running game back in years ago, he would stick with the short passing game. Those bubble screens on the outside, short passes that with easy completions, those are just as good as run plays. You get a 3 or 4 yard completion, that's just like a run. So they're going to have to start calling stuff like this. Keep Russell Wilson upright. Like I said, he's proven that he can play football. So like I said, since the running game is trash, those guys are coughing the ball up. I think they play Seattle. Both running backs fumbled in the red zone 3-4 yards away. You can't do that. Now, I don't care how high or how tight they hold the ball, they still been coughing it up. So, like I said, that is a no-no for me. Like I said, with Russ, those coaches going to have to get rid of their egos. It's not like this man ain't throw for 38,000 yards. You can put whatever spin or how, he didn't do this or he didn't do that or he didn't see this. It's fine. I've seen Peyton Manning lose games. I've seen Tom Brady lose games. Russell Wilson having a slow start in Denver really do not surprise me, because if you look at the way they're like the conference is set up, you got to go through Kansas City, the Chargers, and the Raiders. He could possibly finish fourth if that team doesn't shape up. That's just because of how deep that side is. So he has an uphill battle. If anybody can do it, I think Russell Wilson can. Like I said, he's thrown for 38,000 already, and nobody can tell me a number one receiver outside of DJ Metcalf that he's had. Doug Baldwin, very good player. He's best in the slot. These guys he has now are way more talented. He's going to have to get some timing down. They're going to have to get an understanding. He's going to have to change them hand signals to something that they understand. That's on Russ's side. But the Broncos, I think nobody should panic yet. I think Russell Wilson is still the perfect and best option for you at quarterback. There's no need to start hitting the panic button and talking about trades. That's stupid. Knee-jerk reactions always have knee-jerk injuries. So make sure you guys tune in right now. The Ravens are playing Cincinnati. It's going to be a very good game. I think the NFL is shaping up to be a very good season. My guys are 5-0. We're the only undefeated team so far. I want to say we have the Giants and the Cowboys coming up. If I'm not mistaken, the Giants won today against the Packers. And I want to say the Rams got smacked by the Cowboys. So it looks like the NFC East is no longer the NFC least. Looks like we're running the show. I think the G-Men Giants only lost one game. And the Cowboys only lost one game. So it's going to be tough. But we'll see in due time. But as for time, this is mine. I'm your host, Ricky G. Stanley, and I am out of here.
Trying to get a lot of dough. Anything is possible. Turn me up in the headphones.